It's coming. Hello. Welcome to the real story behind her business. And today we have a beautiful person coming from the US, Coach Michelle. Welcome aboard.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much for inviting me to come and have a conversation with you.
I feel we're going to have a lot of fun. And please stay around, take some notes, because Michelle has a very, very specific expertise that I cannot wait. Even me have some question, like I've been knowing you for a while now, but there's so many things I want to hear from you today. So I feel very honored for that. Maybe full transparency. I like to be very transparent with my audience. Michelle and I, we belong to the same mastermind, and we actually co-writing a book right now, which is pretty exciting. You're going to hear about it very soon. Michelle, tell us more about our projects before we dive into your story.
Well, we have written a book with other influencers, coaches, and individuals who are really just wanting to take their lives to the next level. And the beauty about collaborating, I think, us working together, is that we're not responsible for the whole book, just one chapter. So, if you've ever thought, oh, I don't know enough to write a book, well, one chapter. This is all we're contributing to. I'm very excited about my particular chapter. This is my second book that I've written this way. And I am writing about, my story is about giving yourself permission. Permission to play, permission to become an entrepreneur, permission to do those things that scare us so much that we just say, oh no, I cannot do that. So I'm very excited about my chapter. Can I ask you what is yours about?
Well, it was a very painful chapter. It was a very cathartic and I guess healing chapter. It's almost it's about the second not second but almost second quarter of my life, dealing with bulimia and how it really shaped how I became an entrepreneur. Mm-hmm. It was just it was so foreign to me. Like, first, I didn't remember anything about that 25 years of my life. But doing the exercise was so healing, so painful, and so beautiful. And I just read the final version last week because we have amazing coaches with us, helping us write the book. And I'm like, who's that woman here? I don't know if you had that effect when you read the final version, but I'm like blown away.
So, Angelique, I will just share with you that my first story that I wrote was about childhood sexual abuse at the age of 4. And I had never really talked about it, much less promoted it or and created it in a story. And I was afraid of judgment, but also just because I had tucked it away. And this kind of ties into the type of coaching that I do. There's shame and guilt around things that have happened to us, whether we did them to ourselves or not. And so I will say for me that it's been very freeing, and I'm really proud of myself for sharing the story and being transparent with people. And I believe that when we share our stories, there are other people out there that will say, me too. I experienced the same thing. I'm not alone. And it begins to give us courage to begin to take that first step to our healing.
So true. So true. You describe it very well. We're not talking about the same story at all, but the effect of it, the reaction, the freedom part of it is exactly how I feel. And I just love it. So what I'm going to do, Michelle, is after the show, I'll put the link to the website, because this book comes out in the context of an amazing conference that is going to happen in
October
Virginia, right?
in
Atlanta.
Atlanta, Georgia.
Yeah. So you ladies are invited, and I think it's open to any gender. So it's called Behind the Power. It's just gonna be beautiful. It's in October. So I wanted to open with this because I know it's what kind of how we met and
Yes,
how we get to know each other, which
yes,
is so vulnerable but so beautiful at the same time. So thank you.
you're welcome.
So Michelle, tell me more about first where are you located in this on this planet, and who do you serve?
Okay. So you may be able to tell by my accent that I live in the lower part of the United States in the South. Actually, I live in North Carolina, Asheville, North Carolina. I have been here for over 20 years in this city with my husband, and we raised our daughters here. I'm an empty nester now. My daughters are adults, 31 and 25. So we've actually been in this empty nest for quite a while. But yeah, so what happened is I found myself after my youngest daughter went off to college. I was a stay-at-home mom, and I was very committed and very dedicated to what I was doing, and that was my career. But when that child left, I I did not know who I was anymore. And so when I began, I knew that some things about myself needed to change. I was my first client, to be honest with you. It began with me. And the name of my business is The Clarity Journey because it was mine first. I did not really realize how much work I needed for myself to heal mentally, physically, spiritually, emotionally. So I took that as an opportunity for me to begin. Over the years, I have developed and evolved, and now I do life coach, but I focus more in working with individuals that have experienced grief or trauma, and that can also include death. And so those life events can put us on, it can, well, I would say it gets us in the weeds. We get off the path, and we don't know where to go. We don't know, we're at a loss. And so what I'm able to do is work individually with clients, number one, to identify what happened, what happened that got you to this space, and what is it that you want moving forward. And I work with my clients on grief recovery because I believe that if we ignore the trauma, if we ignore the grief, it's going to show up. It's going to come back up again. If you think about a ball that is filled with air and you push it underwater and you keep pushing it down and pushing it down, it's it pops back up sometimes, and could hit you in the face even. And so we get this opportunity to really look at what's going on with us. Why, what happened, and what is it that I need or want going forward. And so I am very passionate about this life coaching and grief recovery work that I do because I don't know very many people that do this type of work together. And I'm just very, I want people to know that there is help. There are tools that you can use that can help you. And you don't just need one tool. So if someone says, well, I've gone to a grief counselor, I don't need anything else. I would say, I'm so happy that you have gone to a grief counselor. What else do you need? A toolbox holds many tools, not just one. It holds
Yes.
many. And so to be able to have that mindset of that there are more opportunities and things out there that we can use to help us to be able to heal, grow, and then to move forward.
Thank you. That's a beautiful description of your work. So before we get to that, business of yours that you've built, as a result of so many things, could you bring us back maybe to little Michelle when you were 5, 7, 8? What was the thing you were spending your day doing that kind of shaped the life coach and the grief recovery coach you became?
I think that, well, first of all, this little girl right here is me.
Oh my God.
Thi-
Love it.
This is little Michelle, and this is actually at the time that I experienced the sexual abuse. And I keep her with me, and we communicate often. So I think that little Michelle was always looking for someone to help her. And I didn't always know how to ask for what I needed. And so as I grew older and became a little more cognizant of help and being able to support other people, that is my passion. I am an encourager and a support person. It is intrinsically in my DNA. And to be able to do it from a healthy place and not a codependent space, but to be able to have that opportunity to listen to people and hear them without offering advice, just understanding where they are, because that's what I needed, Angelique. I needed someone to hear me when I would say something happened to me when I was a little girl. Most people did not want to go any further in conversation with me. It's an uncomfortable topic. And so once I began finding people that would listen to my story, then I could tell a little bit more, and I could pull back the curtain just a little bit more. And so that really has been my example, that I want other individuals to know that they don't have to be ashamed or afraid of what they've experienced. It has shaped your life in a way, but it doesn't have to define it. And
Yeah.
so it has just the Michelle today is a much healthier version of what little Michelle needed. So over time, an investment with coaches and doing the work myself, I have been able to be that person that little Michelle needed. And that's the person that I choose to show up to be in this world.
I love this. So now you are offer this space, that safe space for others. I
Yes,
love it. And then from what I remember, you actually have a little cute space
I
that is
do.
the office now.
Yeah, that is so exciting, especially for me who was a stay at home mom for over 20 years. COVID really kind of launched my online coaching opportunities. But once I started looking for an office space, because I not only do I work with clients virtually, I also work with them one on one. So the people that live in this area, I have that opportunity to meet with them face to face. It's not really a good idea to do it in a coffee shop or a restaurant. I needed a private space.
Yeah.
And so, yes, now I have this beautiful office space that already I'm meeting with clients there, and they all come in and say, "Oh, I love this space so much. It just feels so safe," which is exactly what I wanted.
Congratulations for
Thank
this.
you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
So, Michelle, when you started that practice of yours, what was your most burning desire at the time before you even put a name on your business or that you became a life coach? What was the most burning desire?
You know, I don't know that I was at the time, I'm not really sure that I was able to define it. And I will tell you, I thought I was going in the most obvious way. So I began working on the outside. So I started taking better care of myself. I started exercising where I wasn't exercising at all. I began to work on the physical body on the outside. It wasn't until years in that I realized that there was inner work that also needed to be done. I thought the outer work was going to be harder than the inner work. No, not true at all. So when I started this journey, I was health coaching. And I will say, I think health and life coaching do go together. You can't ignore the body. You must take care of your body. You need the rest. You need the proper nutrition. You need to be paying attention to your stress levels. You need to get outside and meditate and get fresh air and play. And so that really started my journey, and then it went inward. So I do think that they go together. And again, when I'm working with a client, we are paying attention to what are your self-care practices? How are you taking care of yourself? Are you sleeping? Because we know sleep is so very important in our daily life. Hydration and eating foods that nourish our bodies. These so
Cheers.
yes, same here. So they all play a very important role.
Yeah.
And so when we have that mind body connection, we are going to be operating as optimally as we can.
Yeah, I totally agree. It's like in my field with social media and online visibility, women come to me for social media, but the inner work is the work that is fundamental to be able to show up, right? So it's kind of, yeah, the inner work is mandatory in everything we do.
Absolutely, it is. And and I know that the coach that we work with, she has said so many times, that awareness is 90% of the game. And so, or 90% of our growth. When we become aware of what it is that's showing up in our bodies, or maybe where the red lights are going off, you need to pay attention to this. You have your back is hurting you. For what reason? When we become curious and pay attention, then we can begin to focus on, okay, what's going on here? And I speak from experience because
Yeah.
I lived in denial. I ignored all of the warning signs. Can I share this with you? This is a very vulnerable share.
Yes.
I was in so much denial. This was before I started this work. I told myself that I was going to wait until something really bad happened to me, and then I would make the changes. So, heart attack, stroke, cancer, something like that. And then I would start the work. I literally was playing Russian roulette with my life. I was in so much denial. But you know what? Fortunately, none of those things have happened. But I did realize that it was time. And this is something I say a lot. There is no finish line to this work, but there is a starting line. So let's get started.
Yeah, I love this. Yes. So how did that kind of call or that wake up call how did it kind of ignite the burning desire to start a business?
Well, when I began seeing the results for myself in the work that I was doing, and I have this opportunity to recreate myself. I'm 56. No, I'm not. I'm 57. I'm going to be 58 in August. But I now had this opportunity to say, what do I want to do with this chapter of my life? And it really is about, I want to be in service to other people. I've experienced incredible results, and I want other people to experience them as well. I want them to know what's possible for them. That is my burning desire. I wake up every day thinking I'm so excited about the work that I get to do, the people that I get to meet, and in my office or online, and just help them find out what it is that they want in their life and what happened to them that they lost their way. So that is my, and again, that's my encourager, cheerleader personality coming out there.
Yeah, I love this. So, okay. So, as we know, building a business is not just having a key, opening a door, and say, business is open.
I wish it was. Really do.
So, what was your biggest struggle at the time to make this project happen, and how did it feel? Can you bring us back then? There.
I can say that I knew this much, zero, about doing this. Even going online gave me so much stress and anxiety because I did not know how to do it. I had to have my youngest daughter help me get started. And so I literally knew nothing. And I guess that's an advantage. If you know nothing, you can start from ground zero and build up, right? And so I have I'm trying. I would try and I might gain a little bit of success, and then it might, it might go back. I might take a few steps back. This is the thing that I have learned now, is that it's okay to ask for help. It's okay. I don't have to spend hours at my desk, at my computer, trying to figure something out. When I can talk to someone and work with someone like you who can help me with media, and how to get a social platform and get out there. You don't know what you don't know.
Yeah.
So it's okay to ask for help. And it has been what has been most helpful for me, because I'm not trying to figure it out on my own.
I love what you're saying, because if you had told me when I started my businesses, I didn't even start with social media, was another business, but the number of coaches that I would hire, I would be like, what? Like, but it's a mindset shift, right?
Yes.
Because we go like, I'm gonna do it alone, to getting help along the way, and everybody bring their own value accordingly in the journey. I love what
Hmm.
you said.
Hmm.
That's for me too the biggest lesson.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
And
love
I
it.
think also being to learn, willing to learn, willing to try, and willing to make mistakes.
Yeah,
Because we're not Hollywood, we're not media, we are entrepreneurs or solopreneurs, and we're not going to look like some of the other people that are out there that are very well known, but we can make an impact in the world as well,
so
and it matters.
yeah, Michelle, what did you want to accomplish at first with your business?
I honestly just wanted clients. I wanted I wanted to begin immediately to have clients, and I had no idea where they were going to come from. Many of my clients, in the early years, were people that I already knew. But as time went on, and as my clients I worked with achieved the goals that they wanted for themselves, they began telling their friends. So in word of mouth, I now work with individuals many times that I don't know,
Yeah,
going into this coaching process. And that to me I think is amazing, because I started in the shallow end of the pool, so to speak, and now I'm kind of swimming in the deeper water.
so how, what was the big how to big reveal for you in this kind of epiphany? Like, did you have a turning point, something that you like, oh my god?
Can I say that I'm still looking for that big turning point?
You can say anything.
Yeah, I still am. I mean, there's more that I want. I want to be able to do retreats where individuals, where I can we spend a weekend together and get that amazing together uh, interaction, but also that working together. I want to continue to do, I want to do group coaching. I want to do one-to-one coaching. And so I'm on this quest of being a student and learning and asking, how would I do this? And I'm continuing to educate myself, not because I want to know how to do it. So I'm not afraid to learn.
Yeah.
So, but I will say that that so for me, where I feel it is in my heart. It's not in my head. The work I do is not in my head. It comes from my heart. And when my heart is resonating, and you've been working with someone and they've said, Michelle, my life has changed so much because of the time that you spent and you worked with me. I That is the most amazing I it's the most amazing feeling in the world, that I've been able to walk alongside someone and I see their growth and they see their growth. So that would be the same with me, to be doing the work and growing, and then looking over my shoulder and seeing who I was 10 years ago and who I am today, and not recognizing myself. Who is this person? It's an amazing feeling.
Yeah. So tell me more, Michelle, because I believe in the power of words.
Yes.
What would that retreat or that 2 day together would look like? Let's go there. Bring
Yeah.
me.
Well, I would think number one is that it would be a retreat that people know it's a safe place for them to be. I'm a note taker, so I would have a journal, or something that I've created, that the people where we talk together on a specific topic. Probably would start off with, what brought you here, and what is it that you're wanting to get out of our time together. There would be time where there would be teaching and then self-reflection, because I believe that answers are inside of us. And sometimes we just need to still ourselves and take ourselves away from the grind and the busyness of the day, to just really sit with ourselves and ask the questions. What is it that I want? Why have I been hiding? I honestly had a conversation with fear last week in my office, and I imagined fear sitting on my beautiful teal couch, and I had a conversation with fear, and we talked, and I said, what do you want to tell me? And what my fear was saying to me, I'm trying to protect you. I want you to stay small so that you don't get hurt. You remember that time when this happened to you and this happened to you? Those types of conversations, we don't do that on a day-to-day basis. But when you have that opportunity to get away and really get to know yourself a little bit better, it makes a huge difference. I would also incorporate inner child work in that weekend, because that there are multiple parts of ourselves that are inside of ourselves. So you have Angelique that was a newborn, Angelique that was a toddler, going all the way up to who you are today. All of those parts are inside of you. And there may be a part that needs some attention. There may be a part that of you that needs to be picked up and held like a little child, and say, I love you. I see you and I've got you. And these are the types of things that I would do at a retreat like this. And then we would play. Oh, we definitely would play.
Tell me more. Tell me more about that.
Well, it would probably be silly. It would probably, because I think you have to balance the heaviness with some levity. So, probably something like a game where you have to act out something, and the other team has to guess what it is. I don't even know what that's called now.
I see
But
what.
yeah, something like that, or even I'm trying to think what else. I love to watch things that make me laugh, like doubled over in laughter. We may have a storyteller in the group that's very comedic, that we may just have them get up and start talking. You know what I mean? So, laughing together is another one of those things that is so healing. Just like going deep, laughter is the release of whatever it is that is inside of us. And also the tears. I think being able to express yourself that way as well is so important. Some people are not comfortable with crying, and I understand that. And so to be able to have a space where a person can cry in privacy is okay. That maybe they needed to get away from their daily life to be able to have that opportunity to cry.
Yeah.
So, yeah, and the food would be amazing, because you can't have a getaway without some great food, right?
So what type of food would that be?
Oh, well, I love Mexican food. So it probably because I probably would be something like that the first night, maybe like a Mexican fiesta with music and sombreros and a taco bar that you could build regardless if you're vegan, uh was it where if you eat meat, or dairy free or whatever, it would just be inclusive of everyone. You can create what you want, but we're all having a celebration. So that would be, and then breakfast the next morning would be pretty epic as well.
I love it. So where would that take place? Ideally.
Well, I will tell you, I'm working on an idea right now here in the US, in the mountains of Western North Carolina, where I live, because we have mountains, we have streams. There's a lot of cabins here, and this is a destination spot. So that is something that I'm working on right now with another coach here locally, that we are looking to collaborate together to create this here in the mountains of Western North Carolina.
That's awesome. And what would be the name of it?
That's a good question. I haven't thought about the name yet.
Well, maybe for our replayers or listeners, if you have an idea.
Yeah.
But Coach Michelle,
Yes.
there is a recording of this. You have the program, you have the food, you have everything, you have the place. So I think it's already done. Put a date.
We're going to manifest it.
Well, you already created it.
I
It's there.
did. Yeah. I'm thinking that it would be good to do it in January of 2024,
Here we go.
at the beginning of the year, because so many people are looking to begin a new way of living at the beginning of the year. So it's a little too late to begin planning it in August for what I would like, because this here in the mountains, a lot of tourists come here. And so sometimes it can be difficult to find a place, but I haven't looked. But if I could do it sooner, I will.
Yes, like keep me posted because you gave me the full thing, Michelle. And I really believe that once you start picturing and visualizing, what it looks like, what it feels like, and you have the program, like the 3-part program.
Mm-hmm.
This is it. Put that on paper and here we go.
Yeah. Yes. And I love attending those types of things. Have you ever participated in a retreat like that before?
Yeah, I do retreats at least once a year, and I organized my first retreat last March.
That's right. You went to France.
Yes, yeah.
So
And
what
yeah.
what is the most, because I am asking for help, what is the most important thing that I should focus on in planning my retreat?
You really want to have the answer?
Yeah, I do.
It's feeling it all the way through, like we started to do, and really see each second of the retreat. And then the rest is going to flow. Not doing it with this, but going with this, like you just did. You were like imagining. So put that on paper. Like, I'm not kidding. This is your retreat. Then you fine tune stuff. But it's really always getting connected to seeing yourself in the retreat, feeling how you want to feel during the retreat, seeing all the women transforming in front of your eyes, right? So, and if you have the place already in your mind, like visualize yourself walking down in the morning, having the Mexican crew coming in, hearing the music.
Yeah.
That's a work that I really committed 100% of the time. Like, not 100% of the energy was on this, and then the rest was flow. And I got help, of course, but that was, I was the lead. So
Yeah.
so that's why what we just did here is the most important, because you have it very clearly in your head.
Mm-hmm.
Put that on paper and keep, going deeper in each hour, like, well, but you have the first draft.
Okay. And we know from writing, the first draft is not the final draft.
Yes.
But you
Yeah.
have to start somewhere, right?
Yeah. It's really about how you want to feel at the end of the retreat and how you want them to feel at the end of the retreat. And from what I hear, this retreat would be the solution to the fact that your clients don't have the space and don't take the time to reflect on where they're coming from, where they're at, and where they can go.
Yes.
And all this with levity.
Yes. Absolutely.
Yeah. So here we go. We have a retreat.
Yay!
We need the
Thank
name.
you so much
Okay?
for helping me kind of outline that on this interview. That
Yeah,
was amazing.
rewatch the replay because you were very clear. Yeah, it was awesome. You even gave some of the workbook exercise. It was you rock.
Thank you.
So, okay, next step of your business is retreat. That's something we know. Okay.
Yes.
So, going from being a mom full time to opening your business, helping people going through grief, and from what I understand, it's grief, human grief, animal grief. Like any type of grief, even grief of a life that you completely shifted.
Yes.
What was the big payoff for you? It doesn't have to be financial, but any type of payoff where that day you woke up, it's like, this is it. This is my calling. I'm so glad I started this. Do you remember?
I think that I was already doing this work before I went to school. I was already doing it with the gifts that I already had. I think that with grief, because there are so grief is obviously about anything, a relationship, a person that's died, an animal that has died, but that's the primary what we think, but it's so much more than that, because it can be a job loss or a new job. It could be about moving. It could be about having your children growing up and leaving home, and then you have this different life. It can also be about health diagnosis. Maybe you or someone you love has been diagnosed with an illness that is going to change your life. We don't know. We're never really prepared for that. And so as I've been able to continue my studies and also my own experience, I've been able to learn and understand what it is that people need. And what they're really needing is someone that can see them and hear them. Now, people are not comfortable around our grief or others' griefs. And there are a lot of things that people say they mean well, but they don't help. And so I'm able to educate people, what is helpful, what is not helpful. And there are some myths around grief, just some that I do talk about. Time heals all wounds. That's not true, because every person has a relationship with an animal, a person, a place. It's individual. It's and so there is no end, but you can learn and have tools to help you. Cry or grieve alone. That's another one. Bury your feelings and be strong for others. Those things isolate you, so that how can you grow if you're in your own bubble? You can't. You need that. You need that vulnerability. And keeping busy is another thing that so many people think. If I just stay busy, then I don't have to think about it. But then when you're not busy, it catches up with you. So there they're just there are tools that can be used that can help you to be able to navigate the grief and the loss. And I want people to know what they are, and I want to show them how to use the tools, not just talk about them, but let me teach you how to hold it. This is what you do with this tool. This is what you do with this tool, so that you can have that going forward. And I needed that for myself. I did this grief work not only with my parents, with around my childhood sexual abuse. It wasn't my parents, but I was angry at my parents because of what happened to me. But it wasn't until a few years ago, when I was introduced to the tools, that I could begin to forgive. I could and begin to move ahead. Even the person that sexually abused me, I used the tools to to be able to process it. And so I will I want to do this for as long as I have breath in my body. It's that important to me, because these everyone experiences grief and loss, but they're never really fully prepared on how to navigate it.
Yeah, that's beautiful, Michelle.
Thank you.
And I have a few more questions.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
I want to know, along your entrepreneurial journey, how your relationship with money has changed.
I will say that my relationship with money in my entrepreneurial endeavors is continuing to evolve. So if I, in full transparency, I believe that there's still more work for me to do with that, but I know that the work I do is worth an investment. And so I will say to the coaches that are out there that think that giving your services away is okay, no, it's not. And you will end up being resentful and not enjoying your work, because you are not asking for an investment from the individuals that you're working with. And I do, well, based on each individual, I might give, a little bit of time to someone and not charge anything for it. But this is important work. And I also know that giving away things, people will not take it seriously. Uh, and so when you put some skin in the game, you're going to stick around, and you're going to want to do the work and get the results, because you've invested in yourself. And and we're worth the investment.
I love it, how all the perspective you have around it. I love it.
Yeah. Well, again, I go first, and so for someone, I see, people who say, "Oh, I can't afford that. Oh, that costs too much money." It doesn't. I just want to know, what is your money story? What is it that makes you think that you don't deserve that? If you knew what to do, you would already have the results you want, but you don't. So what would happen if we were to make this something that really is possible for you. So, yeah, I still am working around my money story myself, but I'm growing, and
Yeah.
I'm realizing that it is important. It's very important because how we show up, and this is Allison Roberts. So Allison, I am quoting you and I'm giving you the credit for it. The way we show up in one way in our lives, we show up in e- every way. So the way we show up in our money story, it shows up in other areas in our life as well. So it's a great um, thing to pay attention to.
Yeah, totally agree. My money story is one of the biggest field of work since the beginning, but this is why being an entrepreneur opens those doors. This is the beauty of becoming an entrepreneur. I don't know if I would have opened that door if I was not an entrepreneur. I don't know. Who
Yeah,
knows, right?
yeah.
Hard to know, but yeah. So another question. Thank you for sharing this so transparently. I love it. Um, what is something you thought was true at the time that was proven wrong to you around business and visibility?
So we have this little part of our brain, critter brain, reptilian brain, whatever you want to call it. And that part of our brain talks to us daily, almost, I mean, a lot. That part of our brain talks to us. My brain is called Amy for amygdala. Amy would say to me, "You're not smart enough. You don't know what you're doing. You you've been a stay-at-home mom. You don't know how to start a business. You've never done a business before." And those types of things. I've been doing this for 4 or 5 years now. When I look over my shoulder and I see how far I've come, I have to tell that part of my brain, "Oh no, yeah, I've done some pretty amazing things so far, and watch me. I'm not done." And so I even my own children will say to me, "Mom, you're not the same person you were when we lived at home with you." My husband says the same thing. My family, "Who are you?" So, yes, but I say that to myself because I can go back and look at journals. Have you ever done this before? Maybe go back and look at a journal and you read something you've written 10 years ago and go, "Oh," you know? It's like, "I can't believe it. I can't believe that that was even an issue." And now it's like, okay. So we grow as we go.
Yeah.
We grow as we go. And I don't do it perfectly, but I'm loving this journey. And every little door that I've gone through, every yes that I've said takes me just a little bit further and a little bit further. It's not like you have to run a marathon. It's take one step, 1% moving forward is better than not doing anything at all.
Clapping. What?
Yes.
Yeah. What's your relationship with social media?
Um, I would we're casually dating. Um, it's complicated. But I'm not afraid of social media. I just still I stay in the mom land of Facebook. So Facebook is normally where I hang out. TikTok, Instagram. I think my Facebook is linked to Instagram, but I haven't dipped my toes in some of the other waters just because I don't know anything about it, to be honest with you. And
Mhm.
so, but I know that that is where I need to be, that I need to go and try it out.
Well, you don't have to be anywhere. It just, it's more about what you want to explore. So, and I know you want to learn. So
Yes.
that's yeah, I love it. I love it that you have a you're dating social media.
Yeah. Yeah, you asked what the relationship was, and, I just thought about Facebook, and it's complicated.
Oh my God. I have a final question for you, and I'm gonna let you go. What is, one of your biggest fears as a woman in business?
I think one of the biggest fears that I have as a woman in business is someone telling me, "You can't do that," or "You don't know enough. Who do you think you are?" And it's interesting because I've already experienced that. I've already had people say that to me, but yet I also have had people say otherwise.
Yeah, yeah.
Keep doing what you're doing. You've made a difference in my life. I want to keep working with you, And so I would say fear, and this again is something that I've been learning from the coach that I work with, is to make friends with your fear. Invite it to come and sit down across from you, and let's get to know each other just a little bit better, because fear is not bad. Fear is there to teach us something if we're willing to really explore it.
I totally agree. Fear is your green light to move forward.
Yeah, it is. It is.
Totally. Yeah, it's a topic we talk a lot, in the social media world, because a lot of people are feel a fear of being seen, judged, but when you get there, it means that you have something to say and you're eager to share it, and
Yeah.
then there is ways to dance with your fears. And
Yes.
yeah, and don't take your fear for a stopper. And we're not talking about the fear that are danger, right, that could kill you.
Right.
Doing Facebook live won't kill you.
Yeah. Yeah. It won't kill you. And I think sometimes maybe for me, the safety, because of what I experienced as a child, safety is very important to me. And I get to remind myself, you're safe. You're safe. Even on a Facebook Live, you're safe. You're safe if you're on Instagram. It doesn't, because other people are going to have opinions. They're going to say things, and you can't really do anything about that. And it's just their thought and their feelings. And go,
Yeah,
you have your thoughts and your feelings, but it's not mine. And
yeah,
so facing those fears, like you said, then gives you the green light to move ahead.
yeah. I love it. And your mission is so big, so no time to hear what other think.
Yes.
It belongs to them.
Right.
Yeah,
Yeah. And a lot of times the resistance, it's because there is something that makes them uncomfortable.
yeah, yes, yeah, totally. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, and then come around and talk to you in 1 year or 2 years.
Sometimes.
Yeah, yeah, that's just beautiful.
Hmm.
Michelle, thank you so much for all the stuff you shared with us. I'm just gonna put back your email if people have questions for you, or if they're going through grief of any kind. You are so available for that. So I'm
Absolutely.
putting your email. Um, is there any question I didn't ask that I should have asked? Because you have one more thing you want to share with us.
One more thing. I think what I just want to share with your audience is that you may feel like you're alone, that no one understands you, and that you're never going to get out of this place where you are. But I'm here to tell you that yes, you can, and that it begins with you. And it's okay to ask for help. It's okay to cry. It's okay to laugh. It's okay to be sad. It's okay to be alone for a little while, but also be with other people. And things will work out. It might take a little bit of time, but you have this opportunity to start your journey to clarity and healing. So don't give up.
That was a beautiful wrap up. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you. So the clarityjourney@gmail.com, that's where we can join you. And then I'll put also a link to our book that is coming soon online.
Very excited about that. And
Yes.
and I would invite everyone that is watching to come and participate in this. And I'm sure Angelique will share more information with you about it. But it is an amazing few days where you can experience some life-changing coaching and get some vision for your life. And the vibe in the room will be amazing. Amazing.
Yeah. Awesome. Thank you so much, Michelle. You stay with me in the back room. I'm just going to close here. Thank you to all of you. If you're watching the replay, let us know in the comments, what is something that really speaks to you, because it was so rich, right? Also, I'm going to add a resource. I always give that resource during this show because it's about sharing your story. And how does your story shape what you sell? The transformation you sell to other people. And when I say sell, you basically invite people to experience a transformation with you, right? So it's called 10 Ways to Share Your Story for Women Entrepreneur. I'm going to put the link as well so that you have a tool, because I hear a lot. People say, well, I don't remember my stories. I don't know what to share. I don't have any story. Well, you do.
Right.
Believe me, believe us, you have stories. And so basically it's a document that's gonna give you some prompts that's gonna go in your brain and open the drawer of your memory. Okay. Thank you, Michelle. Ciao,
Thank
ciao.
you. Goodbye.